of course, when it's paper review, it's time to introduce Chukwudi Okolie Ugwaja. Many thanks for joining us, Chukwudi. Good to see you again.
Before you. Good morning, Nigeria. How are you doing, Yeri?
Very well, Chukwudi. How are you doing on this public holiday?
Victor?
Good morning.
Oh, yeah, it's a holiday for every one of us.
Oh, I've even forgotten.
You know, happy
Eid al-Mulud.
Eid al-Mulud.
I had forgotten.
Somebody misspelled it. I saw Eid al-Mulid, L-I-D. It's Mulud, L-U-D. Well, not a subject for on-air discussion. Victor,
All right.
Let's go.
All right, so let's look at what the papers have. We'll begin with the Daily Trust this morning. It leads with Taraba communities submerged. The key cut to that is as federal government issues fresh flood alert. Above that, ex-soldier resume protest over unpaid entitlements. That's on page 5. Tinubu departs for Europe on 10-day vacation. That's on all the papers this morning. And we have how I was betrayed by Jonathan. That will be an interesting read. Page 12 has all of that. And below the picture story, we have police invite El-Rufai, ADC leaders over alleged criminal conspiracy. Some of the stories below. Couple's death, how we operate. That's coming from a surviving tout. Not a good story. Page 6 has that. And Sultan 6 end to insecurity. That's on page. And finally, tax law. Nigerians to pay additional 45 naira per litre of petrol. Okay, that's on page 33. All right, so let's see what the Business NG is offering this morning. The Business NG leads with 2 years without ambassador appointments. Concerns mount over vacant embassies. UN suspends air service in Nigeria amid funding shortfall. That's on page 2. And above the masthead, PDP accuses Edo government of wasting 4.2 billion naira on SUVs. Government denies allegations. All right, you want to find out what's happening in Edo, page 2 will help you see all of that. And Dangote Refinery petrol unit offline due to catalyst leaks, repairs the last 2 weeks. All right, that's on page 2, update on the Dangote Refinery right there. Below the picture story, fresh bank shares may weaken EPS despite sector growth, according to analysts. And finally, from the Business NG this morning, we have right here, Nigeria hits 20.59 trillion naira revenue in 8 months. Non-oil accounts for 76%. All right, Victor.
Thank you, Yembre. And I have the Leadership Friday here. The lead story reads, Northern governors back Tinubu's renewed push for state police. Arewa Consultative Forum, Afenifere Middle Belt Forum also support President's resolve. That story is on page 4. And just below that, a tiny strip. After family of 3 tragic deaths, Abuja Council moves against doubts. It's on page 22. And the picture story details Super Eagles in training ahead of the World Cup qualifying game between the Super Eagles and the Amavubi of Rwanda. All right, and besides that, please invite El-Rufai, 6 other ADC leaders for questioning. You can get details of that on page 27. And in fashion, Italian fashion icon Giorgio Armani dies at 91. It's on page 7. And for the rest of the story, death toll from Niger, both accident hits 31 is on page 6. Wike unveils 50% fertilizer subsidy for Abuja farmers is on page 22. And flood alerts issued to 9 northern, 5 southern states is on page 10. And finally, before we go 2027, resurrecting zoning is regressive on Lawipo Hashim support groups. Warn of looming consequences as Hashim vows to contest presidency. You get details on page 7. Chugode.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. We mentioned the revenue coming into government in 8 months, which you said was a good thing. And we also, I think yesterday, mentioned that there would even be more revenue from January when the new tax laws kick in. Government is going to get more revenue. Because what is happening now is that government is trying to let you know that it's not crude oil that gives the most revenue to government. In countries like Germany, UK, US, and there is taxation. That's where we're moving to.
So the taxation on petrol.
Let me finish. I knew you would run there. Your car will be fueled. Yeah. So it is modernizing the tax system. What Nigerians say is, are we as well placed as these people to bear a tax burden that some fear would kick in January? Government still has a lot of public relations work to do, enlightenment, awareness, spread of AIDS and all that, for these to go through. The taxation on petrol is not out of place. Yeah. The point some people make is 45 on a liter of petrol. Is that not a bit high? Is it that we're not now very sure that prices have steadied? I think they have, in spite of the leak or the leaks you mentioned. That's an investigative story. Dangote has not officially come out to talk about those leaks. But then the people who investigated the story and are putting it out are saying that they are doing it so quickly so that there's not a gap and all that. Government feels that the price of petrol has steadied. About 3 weeks ago, you said that there was I said, no. We have got to a level where petrol price cannot go beyond 1,000 anymore. That I can tell you, even though I'm not an economist. Good. So government is taxing whatever can be taxed. The point is, how much are Nigerians disposed towards meeting some of these tax obligations? So they need to close that gap of fright over, There are some of us who are not in regular employ now who are really not paying tax the way we should, even the personal income tax. I haven't come here to confess, but I know what I'm talking about. So there is truly a need to make people pay tax. That I can tell you.
I agreed, but this tax on petrol really, I think it will have a ripple effect on other things.
It will, of course.
And then...
You didn't read where they said Nigerians, okay, the people are already protesting it ahead of January.
Exactly.
So they are not going to take it lying down, I know. But at the end of the day, government has a job to say our intentions are good. We need not just recurrent expenditure ability. We need capital projects ability and all that. It can only come from revenue. It is the information you put out. What are people doing? Carry people along. What are those who work for government doing to let people know what the intention is?
But another question I have is, was this included, is this part of the 4 tax bills that was signed earlier this year? But you see, at the time the discussion about the tax bills, were on, this didn't come to light.
Didn't come up, yeah.
There are things that will come to light from January. You see, look, I said something.
So it's law.
I said something 2 weeks ago or last week. I said, where Lagos started the rebound and the economy of Lagos grew, it started from the Tinubu administration. It's taxation. I said I did a short documentary for somebody who was part of that taxation system, where leaders of markets in Lagos got cars and encouraged people to pay tax, and they said they were saying what they were paying tax for. It's still the same model at the national level. So if it has worked for Lagos, Nigerians should at least give it the benefit of the doubt. Let us see how it goes.
But another question will be that are Nigerians, going to be able to cope with all of this taxation, considering their inflow at the moment, or if you like, their income?
Yes.
Yeah, because if you want to say, for example, a civil servant, 70,000 naira minimum wage, with all these taxes here and there, will the average be able to, live life fully?
But this is already law. All of these would have...
It's okay.
All of these would have happened.
The fact that it is law doesn't mean that it's going to be a burden on human beings. Man is not made for law, So she has a valid question. The point is, we mentioned just 2 days ago that the good thing is that next year we would be ripe for another renegotiation of the minimum wage. You see, you have to be proactive in thinking about these things if you're going to build into the national psyche and development. That's the way I look at things, All
right.
Fine, Nigerians have a right to say, hey, but let it always be on a note of, let us move together, let us carry everyone up.
All right, and state policing is back in the news. Northern governors backed Tinubu's renewed push for state police.
I stopped saying that state police is a matter of time. I said it more than a year ago. Whatever anyone does, those doubting Thomases and all that would eventually find out that when the state police comes, it's going to be to the benefit of everybody. It's not against any particular section of the country. It is that a governor can say, hey, I hear there's trouble there. And the man in charge of the police would take action immediately in the state and let federal things be reserved for federal layers of authority. There is like the FBI and the state police forces in the United States. There are areas definitely that the federal government can step in when any state wants to abuse it. These will be worked out. But I ask Nigerians, don't be afraid for the sake of being afraid. It was a military president that gave us broadcast licenses to free people. They said people start announcing coups from their kitchens and all that. Has that happened? Please, let's think positively. State police is a matter of time.
All right, we're going to go soon. But this story is, on all the papers, and that's the couple that died as a result of activities of touts in Mabushi area.
The people who were chased to death.
Yes. And
you went here yesterday.
Yes, but there's an update today talking about how the tout operates. One of the touts who, actually sustained injury in that particular accident is coming out to say that they don't remit the money they collect to government. They have people who call themselves chairmen of different parks who collect these monies and all of that. And I'm like, it's been on for so long. It happens almost everywhere. Any state you go to, there are touts who collect these monies.
Those are transport unions.
Transport unions, can't they be regulated? Can't something be done about this?
My people have a saying that when a child comes out from the bush and tells you, stupid man, where are you going to? Don't rush to beat that child. The person will send them a day inside bush there. These people are too bold to be acting on their own. And that is not good for us. These shadowy groups that are operating, kidnappers who tell, one of the people who got kidnapped in my area said, the person receiving the call from the people who kidnapped him, they were saluting him. Even though he was not there, they were giving him the salute on the phone. That tells you he's a top person somewhere. I said somewhere. It could be somebody in my father's farm, so don't say anything. We have to bring sincerity into our lives. Nigeria suffers from hypocrisy. Good Lord Jonathan was lamenting somewhere there that he was betrayed by lies and all that.
Right, and here it was talking about, Abuja Council moving.
We got to change.
Abuja Council moving against the touts, always reactive. They could have prevented the loss of lives.
It's fine.
And this also happens in markets. Something needs to be done about what happens.
Everywhere.
It happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere. It is something we need to tackle now. They can't have a field day.
Let's give you the rest of the day to begin tackling these issues. We thank you very much for your time. We'll see you again on Monday. Good Morning Nigeria will return after this break. Please stay with us.